It is about 18 hours to the much anticipated general elections in Nigeria after 1 week extension. And we are back here to the studio to analyze politics by the numbers, how INEC has been doing. Good afternoon. My name is Victor Ogbenka. You're welcome to Vanguard Live. With me in the studio, we'll be talking to immediate right is Mr. Funsho Arogundade, a journalist and commentator. And of course, by my far right, left is Mr. Segun Awosanya.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Quickly, I want us to look at the numbers. INEC extended the election by a week, and of course, we've had lots of things. So we want to look at what the PVC says about our readiness as a people for this election. We have over 84 million people that got registered to vote, but it turns out that the people that collected their PVC, as at the last count, was 72.7 million, and a little over that. Okay, and that is about over 11 million people, one way or the other, couldn't get their PVC. On the part of INEC, let me start with Mr. Arogundade. Is it a fair deal for INEC?
Thanks. Sincerely speaking, I think we should give INEC the pass mark for this. I never expected that even the figure to be as high as that. Of course, there have been a lot of advocacy, there have been a lot of campaigns, both traditionally and on the social media, for people to collect their PVC and get registered. It shows that Nigerians are becoming more aware. INEC proved to be ready to get that aspect done, so I give kudos to them. It's a good thing on the part of INEC.
Okay, Mr. Awosanya, one thing is for people to get their PVC. Another thing is for them to make it to the poll to cast their votes. Out of this lot, how much from past experience do you think we are going to have of Nigerians that will be casting their votes tomorrow?
The most important thing here is for us to continue the orientation, for Nigerians to know that voting is actually their right and it's their responsibility for them to go out there and cast their vote for whosoever they want. They should vote their conscience, they should vote their values, and they should know that without voting, you are actually adding to the problem. Because I cannot really say that we will have what we used to have before in this particular poll that is coming. We're going to have a lot of people coming out to vote, and it's going to cause a lot of administrative issues for INEC on site. So it will be a learning process for us anyway. But also, we're trying as much as possible to ensure that we don't have a voter apathy. Okay. Because of course there are some things that are happening now, others here and there, that are making people think twice about coming out to vote. But I'm saying that with the large numbers who have been disenfranchised systemically, whether wittingly or unwittingly, I won't be able to vote. The people who have the right to vote, who have the access to vote, who have their cards, should ensure that they come out to vote. And that's when we begin to look at voter turnout itself. Because number of PVCs collected is not number of voter turnout. Yeah. So there are two different things entirely. Yeah. So
we talk about the social media and how much noise people make on the social media that turns out to be a wasted vote, or just let me say for the social media. We have voters on the social media that don't make it to the poll. But of course, it shows that if we have about 72 million turnout rates, which is about 85% or more of people that collected their voters, it means that the social media is actually voting. Is that correct?
Well, it is correct. If you want to look at the impact of social media on voting itself, we need to look at the numbers, because we're discussing politics by numbers. Yeah. Registration by age group, if you look at it, 22.3 million of the people who registered to vote are students. 22.3 million. Right now, students are not, probably officially, they are not in school. And most of them are going to participate. So, and most of them are on social media.
There's a public holiday.
There's a public holiday. So, most of them are on social media. So, they are going to vote and they are also aware. Secondly, look at housewives. 11.8 million housewives have been registered to vote in this election. And housewives meaning they have time to learn more, and they also have time to ensure that they go to the vote because they want their husband to be able to protect and provide for them. Also, look at businessmen. 10.8 million businessmen are registered to vote in this election. Businessmen run businesses, they are concerned about the elections, and they are also on social media. They are actively engaged in understanding what is in the topical issues in discourse on social media, so they will make informed decisions. So the numbers are high. The numbers are high, and civil servants, They are not allowed to express themselves on social media, but they read what is going on there. 5.0 million, 5 million civil servants are out there. So that the numbers are looking good, and there's holiday, they will go out and they're going to cast their vote. So this election is going to be historic because it will have the highest voter turnout ever.
Yeah, Mr. Arugunda, talking about population, Lagos has about the largest population, of course, we know, and of course, they have about the largest number of registered voters, but it didn't transcend to the highest number of collection.
Yeah.
Okay, so so it tells you of how critical the number in Lagos. We have about 5.5 million persons that got their voters card and are ready for this election from Lagos State. Just how important is that number to what is or how that election is going to swing tomorrow?
The fact of the matter is that the voters' awareness, I still want to believe that most of the guys up north are more really aware, to me appears more determined. In Lagos, of course, we have 5.4 million of voters, but you also need to consider some guys who probably take or took the PVCs or get these collections, or based on the fact that maybe for some certain reasons, and just let me have it. Because from my own little interaction with some few guys, like even this morning, I spoke to 2 or 3 friends, and how are you going to do it? At least 2 of those 3, they are probably not going to vote because of the distance. Some registered on VI, some was in Shonibare Estate there.
Why didn't they pick a location that is close to their
No, as at the time they were registering, 3 of them were working at those locations.
Okay.
Last week, 2 of them actually traveled far to those places to get themselves
ready for the election.
I'm still trying to convince them. These are part of the Lagos voters. So you need to do this.
Okay.
Because if you don't do it, we're even joking at, you have no business complaining of anything. You have to do it, and most how can you have a card and you say you're talking about distance, which the logistics can also be. We also need to consider that, because there'll be no movement. How are they going to get there?
We're looking at today.
Except they go there today. But how many people will make that sacrifice? Some of them make those sacrifices.
Okay.
So what I'm saying in essence is the numbers in Lagos. If we can get at least 60% of those 5.4, that means we're looking at around 3 million people to get those numbers. So it will also almost be like the same with the Kaduna or Katsina that has almost the same 3 million people who have already collected this thing. Okay,
before we continue, because you mentioned orientation for the North, it looks like you're talking about orientation for the North is quite different from what we have here. But before we continue, I've been speaking with Mr. Funsho Arugundade here and Mr. Segun Awosonya. I've been discussing politics by the numbers against tomorrow's election. Please, you can keep your comments coming in and join the conversation as we continue. Let me ask you, Mr. Awosonya, do you agree that the orientation is divided about voting in this part of the world and up north?
If you look at the history of Nigeria, you will see that politically, the north is a different region from the south. And there's always this rivalry of the north-south rivalry in political narratives. The north, the way they groom themselves, it's easier for them because they are still communal, in their ideal and in their polity, to the point where people follow the leaders' ideal and the leaders' ideology or whatever they want them to go. So the voice of the leaders is the voice of God in the north, unlike Nigeria, unlike in southern Nigeria, where people can think for themselves mostly. So you have to convince people well before they can actually dance to your tune. So in Nigeria, in southern Nigeria, is a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Unlike in the north, where it is easier for you to galvanize people, even with a single message in the mosque. Unlike in Nigeria, where you have several religions and several beliefs, and there are Scientologists in Nigeria now, in the southern Nigeria now, where they don't even belong to any. You can't hold them religiously or religious-wise. You can't hold them ethnic-wise. So nothing really works. unlike in the north. So because of that, orientations are different. And if you look at the voter turnout, you know, in the north and the south, you see that it's actually, the numbers are higher in the north than here, because they have this sense of responsibility there that makes them feel they are not part of the system if they are not doing what they ought to do. So it's like a religious activity to them in the north, unlike here where we feel, in the south where we feel, I beg, I can't come and kill myself. You know, so that's actually the difference.
Maybe I should just chip in a little
Okay,
bit to that.
okay.
Maybe we should just be thinking of going Australian way, maybe criminalizing non-voting. Probably that would
I think that would be a very tall order for us presently. But then, like, I want to pick you up on the statistics we have here from budget and supplied by the INEC. It turns out that Ogun State has the lowest number of voters, of collected PVCs, not voters per se, and that's about 71%, which to some extent is way, yes, Ogun State, which is of course way beyond the 50. But then Abuja has about 76.36% collection. Abuja is in the north, Ogun is in the southwest. They are both business sensitive places. Okay, does it mean that when you have a good business inclination, it affects your disposition to making decisions?
Well, first of all, let's look at the numbers historically. In 2015, the voter turnout for the southwest was 40.26%.
Okay.
Based on what we have, and which is still below the 50% mark. In the south as it were, it was 57.81%, which shows seriousness. In fact, more seriousness than you have in the northwest, which has 55.09%. So what are we saying? I think it's an attitudinal issue where people feel no matter what we do, what will be will be. You understand? So it's like there's no personal commitment on the side of the people in that state, in that particular state, in Ogun State, in Ekiti, your people don't really know the implication of losing an election or winning an election or having representation in government, as it were. Because most of the southwestern states are civil service states.
Okay.
So they depend on government. So it depends on who you know before you can actually get a job to an extent. But also they have agricultural, means of livelihood, as it were. So people are not thinking of how the right people will be in the right places so that they can build the right policies in places that can actually grow their business from where they are. So if they do understand that, then voter turnout should be better. Collection of PVC should be a pragmatic thing. And again, the state infrastructure. What is the national orientation all about? What is this? Where are the state orientation programs that makes them see the essence of participating in the electoral process?
Mr. Ogundade, when you go to a public place, I don't want to mention anything, sometimes you go and they ask you if you have a valid means of identification, and your voter's card is one of those things. It means that beyond the voter's card for an election material, it is, among other things, useful outside the election ground. Does that make you worried? Because I may just want to get my voter's card, not for the purpose of voting. I don't want to put you on the spot to ask if you have voter's card or not. So I don't. Okay. Then does that make you feel like, okay, the voter's card has turned to beyond an election material or beyond a very powerful tool? Do you think one of the reasons people are getting this voter's card is probably not because they want to cast their vote?
Like I said the other time, these are part of the problem. Some people feel, let me just get this, not necessarily because they want to vote. But however, I still believe that having it alone is something of a pride. It's like holding your international passport. You hold it. I've seen friends who are Americans who flaunt their voting, their cards and all those stuff. I think, but let's even start from there. That you have, whether you intend to use it for, not for voting purpose, but still, once you have it, at least you've already been captured, rather than not even having at all. But I believe that we also need to begin to do some sort of orientation, awareness, and get people to understand the need for you to use it for its primary purpose. Here in the southern part, like I've said, these I wouldn't call it apathy per se, but I think we need to get people to understand that look, this card is meant for this, and you should use it if you want a better life for yourself, for your future, and everything. You have to use it and use it well. You don't have to leave everything to. I wouldn't like you said, I'm trying to avoid using some words, but permit me to use the word Almagis up north, who to them they value that card more because they wanted to use it to change government or to retain government. So you understand? Yeah. So we need to even make our guys down south here to understand that you need this thing beyond presenting it to make some banking transactions or whatsoever. It should not be purposely for that. You've already did what is expected of you as a citizen, registered to vote. So why not use it for that particular purpose? So I expect that even between now and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, a lot of people like us will also use our voice to get people to go out, make that sacrifice.
Okay. We are talking about orientation, and we are talking about the Independent National Electoral Commission. INEC, for me, has done a great job in trying to sensitize Nigeria enough to ensure that everybody has their voter's card, and they didn't stop talking about it. They sent text messages, they did jingles and everything, and other independent bodies also took it personal, to announce this everywhere. And with all of that, we have about 84 million persons that got registered, about another 72.7 million that collected. Would you be satisfied? That is about close to, in a nation of about 200 million people.
Of course, we don't know
that
the
is
range of 18 and above.
Above. Okay, that is about 45 million. I mean, that's about 45% thereabout of Nigerian population. Would you be satisfied with any result that this representative give out in choosing the next leader?
The level of my satisfaction would not be on the turnout or voting itself, but in the process. It's not about the numbers, it's about the process. If the process is free and credible and fair, even if it is less than 40% or 30% that had it, in global economies, it's not everybody, all the population that actually participates in voting anyway. But it's about the process. If the process is credible, the government will be a government of national unity, and people will embrace it. It's about the process more than the numbers.
Just so we understand the standard we are expecting. I can see you nodding when he was talking. So, what is a credible, free and fair elections in numbers? To you, just so we know what we're expecting.
At least 60% of that figure
should cast their vote.
In
terms of turnout.
In terms of turnout. Okay, so is that fair?
In fact, I'm optimistic.
Okay.
Even though I've ever measured that we will have about 70% turnout, and we're going to have, and that will mean, and that's one of the reasons why some of us are not really happy when we're hearing executive orders about shoot at sight and all those things, because it will affect that expectation. You understand? Because people don't, always like coming out when they know that their lives will be in danger. You can't come out, father, mother coming out to vote and then risking their life, when their children are in the hands of nannies. You understand? So these are the kind of issues that we're looking at. That is a very sensitive election for us, and citizens have made a lot of sacrifice to go and register. You know what it takes to register for an election? It takes a lot. You go there 3 a.m. they tell you there are 100 people already on the queue. You understand? So eventually you get the card. To get the card is another trouble. You get the card and then you want to go and vote. You are hearing that your life is not safe. So these are the kind of issues that we're looking at.
Mr. Owusu, do you agree that when people say protect your vote,
yes,
what does it mean to you?
To me, protecting my vote means I want a situation where the records of my choice and the records of the choices of everybody else that voted in my unit reflect on that result sheet.
Mr. Ogunade, what does protecting a vote means to you on an election day as a voter? How do you protect your vote?
I vote and my vote counts.
How do you protect your vote?
How do I protect my vote?
Yeah, because we really need to know. Everybody is going to be accountable, starting from the voters to the government and the independent body conducting this election,
And also the security agencies.
and also the
ensuring that
security
law is
agencies. So if the government in their own parts is ensuring that the vote counts, and I as a voter decide to cast my vote and wait for my vote, and the independent body has made everything go so well that in their own side they feel it is fair enough and credible. So there has to be somebody talking about protecting those votes.
protection of votes, sir.
Yeah.
Also is this. The things that we need to do on that day, there will be a lot of analysis across media platforms.
Yes,
Will
we
be
are actually
feedback.
coming to that, and that's what we are going to round up with.
It's about
Okay.
feedback. It's about the feedback system. In my own locality, we have voted, and everybody that voted, we have seen the result sheet, and we are happy with what we have seen. That's enough information. I don't even need to see the result.
Okay.
Other than the people there, they are satisfied.
That's part of protection.
That's part of protection.
Okay.
Get
You
the
have-
words out.
You have the fact that you witnessed and
Yeah.
push it out.
Okay.
This is what happened
Here.
in my PUs, or this is what happened in the social PU that I visited.
Okay.
Push it out. People they voted, and they witnessed the counting and all those stuff. You push it out. It's part of the protection. It doesn't have to be physical,
Okay.
but the numbers of you get the right information across to the people,
Yeah.
and let the people know this is what happened here. It's part of protection.
So during collection,
Okay.
collation of the
Collation.
result,
Okay.
when you see that your PU is giving a strange figure that is against what you have all agreed and seen, then that's why you begin to raise an alarm.
Raising an alarm in the polling unit is dangerous.
No. You don't raise an alarm in the polling unit.
Okay, now.
You've already finished with the polling unit
Yeah.
and saying this is what we saw.
Okay.
So
okay,
it's-
now you're about to the coalition center. Now, this takes me to the social media. You know, they used to say that figures don't lie. They say images don't lie. But unfortunately for us in this part of the world, we have manipulated our use of social media tools such that the result of 2015, don't be surprised that you see some of them flying around tomorrow from nowhere in trying to influence what is already making the round. How sensitive is the coordination and discipline of the social media users important to the success of this election tomorrow?
You can't.
You are an influential.
Social media is another democracy on its own, and is a free society.
Of
People
discipline.
will always.
Or in
There
combat.
are people with different idiosyncrasies, and they will
Okay.
do whatever it is that they've always done. But we know there are credible sources. There are handles who knows that their reputations are on the line,
Okay.
that we can actually trust, who verify information.
Some of those people have failed us in time past.
As we speak, there are apps,
Okay.
on Android Store, on Apple Store,
Okay.
that collates all these things and verifies this information.
Okay.
So, and what is the essence of this app? They are not trying to replicate INEX work. No, they are trying to be, a check and balances platform that we can say, but Ojodu, Baga, so and so. This was what we have, and we got it from 10 different sources, and we've been able to isolate what the truth is.
Okay.
But you are giving us this and that. You can be able to challenge, and then the authorities will be able to verify their information and see where their laxity is. That's what it is.
Okay, Mr. Ogundade, I don't want to ask you the same question. INEC has appealed to Nigerians not to announce results on the social media.
It's very difficult. It's only for you
Okay.
to be able to sift, and it depends on the source that such information is coming from. There is no way that people will not begin to release results.
I don't want us to take the liberty around the social media for granted. Okay, and I also want us to talk about a civilized nation with discipline. Okay, if does the INEC have the sole right to announce the result of the winner exclusively?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
That's what the law says.
Are we
That's what the
supposed to
electoral-
respect that?
We're supposed
Yes.
to respect that.
Even if I have the result of Ojodubega,
Okay.
am I supposed to go to the social media to announce before
There's
INEC?
there's something called checking the veracity of the information that you have.
When am I supposed to release the information that I have?
Look, I have the most important thing at every PU is that final result sheet.
From
I
who?
take a picture.
That will be posted.
That will be
From-
posted.
That will be posted where? That will be
At
posted.
the by INEC.
Yeah.
Exactly.
official.
I just
Now,
want you to mention
See,
INEC.
What we'll do is this: INEC officials on ground,
Yeah.
they are telling the people at the PU that look, your voice, this is what it says.
Yeah.
With
Party agents are there. So party agents already
Then you
will take a
sign.
picture. They sign against this. That
Okay.
signed copy. They take a picture for insurance purposes.
Okay.
Just in case anything changes.
Yeah.
Now, party agents can now choose
Yeah.
to share that with some credible sources and say, keep this for me, just in case they steal my phone.
Yeah.
So those are mechanisms that we can use to check INEC's final result to be sure that they actually bring out the collation
You
of
can even save it on the cloud so
on
that
the cloud.
you can pick it again.
So
and
the,
this is what I have.
the choice of the people
The-
is reflected in the result that INEC is bringing out.
You know, the role of the social media, you know, in having a successful, peaceful election, especially after the election, is very, very important. And then I'm trying to see how we as intellects protect the nation by not hitting up the polity on social media.
Of course, definitely someone like me will not do that.
Would you do that?
Well, my stance is no, because I'm on the side of Nigeria.
Okay.
And being on the side of Nigeria and speaking for Nigerians,
Okay.
you know, automatically I'm not going to be hailing one party over another. My own is to ensure that I work with INEC, you know, even in my own personal capacity, to ensure that their processes are fair, that the entire system itself works. If there are problems, that we'll raise the flags.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, if things are done the right way, we'll be objective about the whole thing.
There's a jury, and that is the court.
Yeah.
If anything different from what you saw at the polling units you monitored is different from the final result we get,
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to save all those noise to when we
No,
get
we
to the
can't,
court.
because the court will not do anything without political will, and that political will has to be generated by informing the people enough to let them know what are the injustice that has happened.
Oh,
You know, before you understand.
I want us
also
to.
need to understand about the jury.
Okay.
Once the chief collating officer, which is the INEC chairman,
Yeah.
must have announced the results. Nothing can be changed except the court.
Yeah.
So that means that whatsoever noise we make on social media does not really count.
Let me
It
explain
only
something.
flames up. It only
just
flames.
hot air.
It's just
No,
hot air. It's
not.
great.
It's
So
not. Don't let us get it wrong. It is not. In a democracy,
yeah, Yeah.
there's something called political will.
yeah.
You cannot govern the people
Okay.
without engaging the people. There's no government without the people. So
Okay.
if the people are against what is on ground, and you say you are a government, whose government are you? Did you see the case of in Kenya where there are two presidents, president of the people and the president based on an election?
Okay,
So-
okay, great. On the final note, we can continue doing this over and over again. On the final note, just one word: INEC has done their part. Nigerians are going to do their part tomorrow. What is the expectation? One word.
My expectation is that the voter turnout is going to be historic, and INEC is going to make a believer of us.
And Mr. Arugunade.
For me, I believe tomorrow will be a very great day.
Yeah.
But I still want to appeal to a lot of people. You have to go out
Okay.
and vote.
All right. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Mr. Funsho Arogundade and Mr. Segun Awosanya, and it's been a very wonderful time discussing the numbers in politics tomorrow as we go to the poll. And not just go to the poll, cast your votes, and make it count. Thank you very much for watching. We'll come your way next time.